Okay, everybody, what is up? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well on this Thursday. Didn't feel like making a video yesterday afternoon or in the evening either. Just wasn't a lot going on, so just decided to let things go ahead and roll over to today. But I do want to go over some of the things that happened yesterday afternoon. There was a somewhat interesting Trevon Diggs press conference where he talked with the media and a couple other little notes as well. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. First, just to remind everybody, I am going to be streaming later today with the Hawks Nest. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Cowboys game. We're going to be talking about the Titans game that's coming up. And of course, we're going to be talking about some of the things that happened during the off season, or excuse me, the off week, I should say. The Terry and Arnold stuff, the Trevon Diggs stuff, some of the other things that have happened in recent days. So tune in for that. Try to be there. Watch it on my side. Watch it on his side. It's the identical thing either way. So definitely try to check that out. We're going to be going live at about noon, and we'll go until there's no reason to go anymore. Okay, so hope to see you guys there. But let's talk a little bit about some of the things that happened yesterday with these Seahawks. Again, nothing big, slow day, no practice, nothing like that. But we did get a Trevon Diggs press conference, and he said some things. Of those things, I think two of the points he rose were interesting. First thing that he talked about was what brought him to Seattle. And he said he had opportunities to go to some other teams. Like I think Detroit was actually in the mix because they've lost Arnold. And he indicated there were a couple other teams he could have signed with as well. But the connection he felt with this particular Seahawks team was why he chose them. Because he used to be teammates with DeMarcus Lawrence, Dante Fowler, and even Noah Igbinoghene was a Cowboy for a little bit there. He played with Josh Jobe at Alabama, and he played under Carl Scott for a little bit there. So there was an intersection there. There was no intersection with Jalen Milroe, but you can see that there's a little bit of an Alabama pipeline going here right now in Seattle, and it's kind of fun. And he also knows Aiden Dirty because Aiden Dirty was a coach on the Cowboys during some of Trevon Diggs' time in Dallas. So a lot of connections brought him to Seattle. And hey, this Seahawks team, I know we haven't signed a monster free agent yet, but they have become a place that players seem like they want to be. This is not the first time we've heard about things like this. And I know some people might say, well, these aren't highly desirable players. They're players like Dante Fowler. They're players like Trevon Diggs, Terry and Arnold coming off the accusations that he has. But still strikes me that there are probably better opportunities out there for these players, right? Like Terry and Arnold would have had a much better chance at playing time if he had signed with another team, but he still chose Seattle because he likes what we're building. And I think that means something. So that's number one from Diggs. Number two, he talked about his health. He talked about his situation right now. And basically what he said is, this is the first offseason he's had in some time where he wasn't rehabbing from some kind of an injury. And that is something that, as a Seahawks fan, should kind of switch on in your head and make you think, well, maybe there's a little bit of hope here. Because that is a real thing. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer. Best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today, and remember to always gamble responsibly. And when you think about Trevon's recent history, he tore the ACL in 2023. He injured that same leg. I don't think he tore his ACL again, but it was the same leg in 2024. And then 2025, he did have the concussion, but he was past that by the end of the season. So you do have a couple years in a row where Trevon Diggs was working through major medical issues in the offseason, and that does have a correlation to not playing very well when you get on the football field again, because you spent so much time rehabbing, you weren't able to really get into football shape the way you might like to, or really prepare for the season the way you would like to. Now, I want to stress, I still think that Trevon Diggs is not really the kind of corner that this team will want. And I think this signing is just representative of a little bit of desperation on our part more than anything else for the short term. But that doesn't change the fact that Trevon Diggs has been a useful player before, and he could become one again. So that's most of the Trevon Diggs stuff. He said some other things as well. Talked about a few other elements of his career leading up to this point, but those were the two things that stood out to me. I do think the injury thing is legitimate, but again, it's just an awkward fit. It's just one of those things where it was probably the best you could do on short notice like this, but it's I'm hoping he doesn't play a big role on the team this year. Okay, so other things that happened yesterday, we worked out a fullback, Jackson Acker, undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin, worked with the Buffalo Bills a little bit, but ultimately did not stick around there. So you can see the team trying to find the replacement for Robbie Oots. Right now, Brock Lampy is the guy, but maybe they're not fully satisfied with what Lampy is doing. So taking a look at a guy like a Jackson Acker, who I was a little familiar with before, from before during the draft, not a lot, but a little bit, makes sense. Nothing wrong with that. So you are getting the sense, like, I can see on some level, if you're looking at this stuff from the outside, it does kind of feel like that there are a couple of areas where this team feels like they've gotten caught a little flat-footed on. Now, fullback makes sense because Robbie Oots, they didn't expect to be out for the season. But the cornerback thing, like, you put it all together, and there are a couple of areas where this team seems dissatisfied with the way things sit. So hopefully they're able to resolve that before the season starts and it ends up not hurting them. So we'll see if anything happens here. And final note, not really Seahawks related, but Vita Vea has settled his trade request with the Buccaneers, and he's been given a 1-year contract extension for $30 million. So he is no longer on the trade block, and he is at least mildly satisfied with the situation in Tampa. So we're not going to be trading for him. I didn't think we were ever going to trade for him because there just isn't a lot of room given what we already have and what we're already going to be committing to financially on the interior of the defensive line. But I think this is good news because there was a chance he was going to get traded to the 49ers or even the Rams. I think the 49ers much more likely because they can afford it and they need that kind of player more. But now that's not going to happen. He's going to stay in Tampa, and I think that's better for us. So I'll say good news there. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Like I said, streaming in a few hours. Going to be another video in the afternoon, I'm sure. But till then, go Hawks. And yeah, let me know what you think of Trevon Diggs, although most of you guys probably already have on a previous video. All right, see ya.